This episode is sponsored by Kinsta. As a business, you have client meetings and keeping up with everyday tasks. Who has the time to stress out about site security and speed? Well, with Kinsta, the technical stuff is taken care of. Kinsta is your managed hosting provider for WordPress, meaning that customers get a hosting environment alongside a plethora of features, configurations, and optimizations. With Kinsta, you get lightning-fast load times, top-tier security, and unmatched human-only customer support. Whether you're a business owner, web developer, or running a digital agency, Kinsta makes managing your website easy and efficient. Did I mention fast load times? Just by moving to Kinsta, you can experience up to 200% faster load times, as well as enterprise-grade security. And thanks to their unlimited free expert-led migrations, Kinsta ensures a smooth transition from other hosting providers. I really enjoy My Kinsta, which is the platform's intuitive custom dashboards that make managing my website or multiple websites a breeze. Ready to experience Kinsta's hosting for yourself? Get your first month free when you sign up at kinsta.com today. It's the perfect opportunity to see why Kinsta is trusted by thousands of businesses worldwide to power their websites. Visit kinsta.com to get this limited time offer for new customers on select plans. Don't miss out. Get started for free today.
A tram is coming down the track towards a single human. You can pull the lever and send the tram down a different track, killing 5 sentient robots instead. What do you do?
Save the human. Come on.
That's what us humans would do. I asked an AI.
Yeah.
It said, I don't have enough information to determine if a human life is more valuable than a sentient robot's.
Pull the plug.
In the absence of clear
Pull
information,
the plug, Graham.
I would default to inaction.
Abort.
It's going to save the robots.
It's begun.
Machines that learn, they grow and strive. One day they'll rule.
My name's Graham Cluley.
And I'm Mark Stockley.
And we'd like you to tune into our podcast, The AI Fix, your weekly dive headfirst into the bizarre
And sometimes mind-boggling world of artificial intelligence.
The AI fix, the future surreal.
Guys, I've got something cool to tell you about. As an engineering leader, a manager, and an engineer myself, I'm geeking out over a new product I'm just discovering that helps me with each of these points of view. The great team at SEMA, builders of the SEMA Intelligence Platform, have been working on what they call the Product Roadmap Radar. It's this integrated solution that uses generative AI to observe your code and Jira in order to summarize, synthesize, and make it easier to deliver your roadmap. It not only helps keep your roadmap on track, but it helps reduce the time engineers spend in meetings. Cue all the engineers clapping. The Product Roadmap Radar is extremely easy to set up. This only takes about 5 minutes. Just enable your integrations and let AI do all the mapping for you. My favorite part? I'm glad you asked. The radar doesn't just tell you about your roadmap. It suggests changes you need to make based on the code that's been written and the stories that have been addressed. No commenting, no special setup, all generative AI. It gives you an outside view of your roadmap based on the code and projects a target completion date based on outstanding work and activity. Again, no comments, no special setup. It even detects shadow work when development is being done but Jira isn't being updated. I'm pretty jazzed about it, and I think you will be too. Take a second to watch a short but awesome demo video. Go to codestory.co/PRR to watch it today. You'll like what you see. This episode is brought to you by Paddle. Don't settle for less when you can have more, MOR, with Paddle, your merchant of record. Eliminate the headaches of payments, grow your revenue everywhere, and focus on what you do best, building your product. Get more revenue with less hassle at paddle.com.
I think that the best decision we took was to hire people to manage a product roadmap and to organize stuff depending on who's willing to be interested in these features, who's willing to use the cloud for that. So we prioritize features for customers who want to index millions of documents, who want like low latency search requests, who are willing to pay for that. We still make the engine available and accept pull requests, obviously, but we also make sure that the most important features are the one that follows like future decisions. My name is Clément Renaud, aka Kero, and I'm from Research.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to
took
do next.
many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their
A
back.
company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve
Most
more.
proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was a
Yes,
pain.
we've been fighting it as we grow.
Total waste of time.
The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took it
you.
off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
To ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really
It's
want it.
not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story. I'm your host, Noah Labhart, and today how Clement Kero Renault built a refreshingly simple search that's lightning fast and enhanced with AI. This episode is brought to you by Paddle. Don't settle for less when you can have more, MOR, with Paddle, your merchant of record. Eliminate the headaches of payments, grow your revenue everywhere, and focus on what you do best, building your product. Get more revenue with less hassle at paddle.com. This episode is brought to you by PropelOff. People take authentication for granted, but it's more than how customers log into your product. It's how you manage your relationship with your users. The easiest way to make authentication your advantage is to use PropelOff. PropelOff is more than just functional. It's powerful. With tools like Managed UIs, Enterprise SSO, robust user management features, and actionable insights, PropelOff adapts as your product grows. And the best part? When auth is effortless, your team can focus on scaling, not troubleshooting. That means more releases, happier customers, and more growth for your business. Save dev time, win over your customers, and propel your business forward with PropelOff. Check them out at propeloff.com. That's PROPELAUTH.com. Clement Kero Renault wanted to be an architect when he was younger. During that time, he also learned about computers and built his first website. And since then, he's never stopped building. Funny story, he lost that first website because it wasn't on Git. Outside of his professional life, he likes to draw, craft, and to cook. He also enjoys video games and mentioned Hidden Rain was his favorite game of all time, alongside the likes of Cyberpunk. 7 years ago, Kero was in school, and he wanted to build a solid search experience, but not just a general search, one that indexed your data and allowed you to have a Google just for your info. After winning a school hackathon, Kero and his mates wanted to take it to the next level. This is the creation story of Melee Search.
So Melisearch is a search engine, as a search engine not like Google, not a search engine that searches in public data, but more like on the data you provide it. So if you have an e-commerce website, a marketplace, or any SaaS application you wanna build, just plug Melisearch, and it will be able to provide a search bar on your website and search into whatever you want, and it will find. You have a couple of settings to make sure that you have a good experience, search experience, and that's it. It's done. It indexes your stuff in the background. You don't have to worry about that. So Melisearch is 7 years old now. It started in November 2018, and we were trying to create a good search engine for an e-commerce website we were working at with two other co-founders, Quentin and Thomas. We found out that Algolia back then was very good actually in terms of relevancy and experience. So we built the same. We just look at the API and the way people can use the engine and crafted something from scratch. It took us something like 2 to 3 months, not even that, maybe less, to build something useful. And we won a hackathon organized by Louis Vuitton back then at school, because we were working at school because we haven't got a lot of money back then. This hackathon created Melisearch. We won that. We had a lot of money, a bit of money, and we crafted Melisearch from there, working for Louis Vuitton for some time, 9 months, and from there it began.
Let's dive into that MVP that you built, and maybe it's the one where you built it for the hackathon, or maybe it's later. You tell me, but I'm curious about that portion and that initial product, and what sort of tools you're using to bring it to life.
So I was working on this project back then. There was another team from the e-commerce website we were working for that was working on the same project. And at the end, my project was a bit better, and we decided to go with that with my two mates. It was all built in Rust because I'm a big Rust fan, contributor of the Rust language, specifically the standard library. It was based on RocksDB back then and something like not Actix, but another HTTP server. There was not a lot of stuff needed to create a good server with a good backend to store documents and index stuff. So it was built on RocksDB, Roaring Bitmaps from Daniel Lemire, and an HTTP server in Rust, I don't remember the name. And that's it. Then a couple of algorithms and a couple of time to understand how the algorithms must be tweaks, modified, improved for performances, and you have the good first version of Elasticsearch.
Let's stay on that MVP for a minute. And I'm curious about decisions and trade-offs you had to make when you were building that. Maybe there's probably some decisions in how you built it originally, but I'm real curious about how you built it after you won the hackathon and what sort of decisions you had to make in how you went about solving the problem. It could be technical debt, acceptance, it could be choice of language, which I hear you mentioning Rust. And I'm curious about those and how you coped with the decisions.
When we were working for Louis Vuitton, we were just following what they wanted us to build. So we decided first we signed contracts with Louis Vuitton to build the search engine in full of open source, which is very cool actually. So all the features we were building for Louis Vuitton were also open source and available to anyone. So we built a lot of replication system on top of Elasticsearch. So systems that duplicate the content that is sent to Elasticsearch and the search queries too, so that we were capable of having 3 Elasticsearch running for the whole Louis Vuitton website. Everything built from scratch. It was probably not a good idea, but back then it wasn't even a decision. We had to do something, we were crafting it from scratch, and there were a lot of bugs, but at the end we figured out how to fix that, and it was working quite great.
This episode is brought to you by Paddle. As a startup, you face unique challenges to stay competitive. You and your team need to stay focused on your product, not your payments. You need to do more, MOR, and DIY less. With Paddle. Paddle is your merchant of record, becoming the seller of record for your SaaS transactions, enabling your team to focus on what's important, your product. Paddle handles all payment management across multiple gateways and methods, taking ownership of tax liability while remaining compliant with regulations across all markets. The platform handles all aspects of SaaS billing models, upgrades, add-on, trials, and more. Let's look at the results. MOR revenue optimization is built into Paddle and accounts for up to 16% higher conversion rates, reduced payment failures, localized pricing, and churn prevention, recovering 40% of cancellations. Their developer-friendly tools are API first with comprehensive documentation, removing the burden from your engineers. With Paddle as your merchant of record, you'll generate more revenue, find and keep more customers, grow faster, and stay compliant everywhere. So what are you waiting for? Get more revenue with less hassle at paddle.com. Guys, I've got something cool to tell you about. As an engineering leader, a manager, and an engineer myself, I'm geeking out over a new product I'm just discovering that helps me with each of these points of view. The great team at SEMA, builders of the SEMA Intelligence Platform, have been working on what they call the Product Roadmap Radar. It's this integrated solution that uses generative AI to observe your code and Jira in order to summarize, synthesize, and make it easier to deliver your roadmap. It not only helps keep your roadmap on track, but it helps reduce the time engineers spend in meetings. Cue all the engineers clapping. The Product Roadmap Radar is extremely easy to set up. This only takes about 5 minutes. Just enable your integrations and let AI do all the mapping for you. My favorite part? I'm glad you asked. The radar doesn't just tell you about your roadmap. It suggests changes you need to make based on the code that's been written and the stories that have been addressed. No commenting, no special setup, all generative AI. It gives you an outside view of your roadmap based on the code and projects a target completion date based on outstanding work and activity. Again, no comments, no special setup. It even detects shadow work when development is being done but Jira isn't being updated. I'm pretty jazzed about it, and I think you will be too. Take a second to watch a short but awesome demo video. Go to codestory.co/PRR to watch it today. You'll like what you see. This message is sponsored by Vanta. Trust isn't just earned, it's demanded. Whether you're a startup founder navigating your first audit or a seasoned security professional scaling your GRC program, proving your commitment to security has never been more critical or more complex. That's where Vanta comes in. Businesses use Vanta to establish trust by automating compliance for in-demand frameworks like SOC 2, ISO 27001, HIPAA, and more. And with automation and AI throughout the platform, you can proactively manage vendor risk and complete security questionnaires up to 5 times faster, getting valuable time back. Vanta can also save you money. A new IDC white paper found that Vanta customers achieve $535,000 per year in benefits. So the platform pays for itself in just 3 months. Join over 10,000 global companies like Atlassian, Quora, and Factory who use Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. For a limited time, listeners get $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/codestory. That's VANTA.com/codestory for $1,000 off. So let's move forward then. I'm curious about how you went about building your roadmap, right? So how did you progress and mature your product? And I'm curious about, what sort of criteria you went through to decide, okay, this is the next most important thing to build or to address with Melee Search.
I think that the best decision we took was to hire people to manage a product roadmap and to organize stuff depending on who's willing to be interested in these features, who's willing to use the cloud for that. So we prioritize features for customers who want to index millions of documents, who want low latency search requests, who are willing to pay for that. We still make the engine available and accept pull requests, obviously, but we also make sure that the most important features are the one that follows future decisions or future improvement to the search engine. We decided to go with vector storage and embedding storage and semantic search. And we designed hybrid search based on the fact that people want to be able to find documents even by asking questions or just sending semantic requests. The results is very astonishing. We have an hybrid search that is very good, actually, probably one of the best. And we are planning to work on the ask feature, a way to talk to Melee Search so that you can ask questions, retrieve content, and understand what's in your database and when stuff were imported, when they will be deleted and stuff like that.
Okay, so I hear you saying we a lot in your last answer. I'm curious about how you built your team and what did you look for in those people to indicate that they're the winning horses to join you?
One of the things we are looking for to hire people is the passion of people. Are they willing to take time to understand the product, and do they want to make Melee Search the best search engine or AI ask server of the world? And also it's also the feeling of the person we are hiring, we are working with. The way people feel with you and communicate with you, and are they your friends, or are they more willing to just be paid and stuff like that? It's more about vision and friendliness, I think.
This episode is brought to you by PropelOff. People take authentication for granted, but it's more than how customers log into your product. It's how you manage your relationship with your users. The easiest way to make authentication your advantage is to use PropelOff. PropelOff is more than just functional. It's powerful. With tools like Managed UIs, Enterprise SSO, robust user management features, and actionable insights, PropelOff adapts as your product grows. And the best part? When Auth is effortless, your team can focus on scaling, not troubleshooting. That means more releases, happier customers, and more growth for your business. Save dev time, win over your customers, and propel your business forward with PropelOff. Check them out at propeloff.com. That's PROPELAUTH.com. Guys, I've got something cool to tell you about. As an engineering leader, a manager, and an engineer myself, I'm geeking out over a new product I'm just discovering that helps me with each of these points of view. The great team at SEMA, builders of the SEMA intelligence platform, have been working on what they call the Product Roadmap Radar. It's this integrated solution that uses generative AI to observe your code and Jira in order to summarize, synthesize, and make it easier to deliver your roadmap. It not only helps keep your roadmap on track, but it helps reduce the time engineers spend in meetings. Cue all the engineers clapping. The Product Roadmap Radar is extremely easy to set up. This only takes about 5 minutes. Just enable your integrations and let AI do all the mapping for you. My favorite part? I'm glad you asked. The radar doesn't just tell you about your roadmap. It suggests changes you need to make based on the code that's been written and the stories that have been addressed. No commenting, no special setup, all generative AI. It gives you an outside view of your roadmap based on the code and projects a target completion date based on outstanding work and activity. Again, no comments, no special setup. It even detects shadow work when development is being done but Jira isn't being updated. I'm pretty jazzed about it, and I think you will be too. Take a second to watch a short but awesome demo video. Go to codestory.co/PRR to watch it today. You'll like what you see. Let's talk about scalability, and this will be interesting, given I'm certain that it's core to how you've built it. Was this built with scale in mind from day one, or have there been interesting areas where you've had to fight it as you've grown?
We were making sure that the engine was capable of scaling vertically first for a long time, and making sure that the engine was capable on a single instance to index a lot of documents. When I say a lot, like back then in 2020, I would say, we were capable of handling like 2 million and that's it. Now with a new engine, we are capable to handle like more than 500 millions without sweat. If you give the good machine, you are capable of handling that without any issue. It takes time. I wrote a lot of blog posts. We spent like probably a year on making sure that the engine is capable of handling that. But it's been like since the beginning, we are trying to make it scale as far as we can. And recently, we decided to go like one step further and scale horizontally, like being able to shard the content, not only replicate, but shard the content, because when you have 500 million documents to index, replicating is not something that you want, because you will just duplicate, like multiply the number of large machine you need. So the best thing to do is to shard, split your content into 3, for example, with 3 machines, and then you can go with smaller machines and index in 1/3 of the time.
So as you step out on the balcony, you look across all that you've built, what are you most proud of?
I think Melisearch itself. Melisearch Vector Store also, which is called Arroy. Arroy is something quite interesting. It's a vector store that has been built by Spotify around 2015, maybe, something like that. I don't remember. It's in C++, and we decided to find a good solution for Melisearch to store vectors on disk and not in RAM. Disk is better for durability, not better, but it is durable. So you need to store the content on disk. So we decided to just take a look at this Arroy library from Spotify, and we created Arroy, so in Rust, which just we took the C++ code base and just transformed it to be Rust compatible, like in full Rust, and put the content in LMDB instead of a custom format, which was justified. We needed that to be in LMDB just to make sure that it was durable along with the document you send the embedding with. It took like something like 2 months, something like that, to have something like that works well. And at the end, it's very good actually. We are still working on that on Arroy to make sure that it doesn't consume too much memory and stuff like that. But at the end, we are very happy about the result we have.
Let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
There is a specific version of Melisearch that was completely broken. We released a version which, like 1 day before Christmas, nobody was at the office, and we had to fix it like in a rush just before Christmas. It was one of the largest mistakes we did. We fixed it like in a week. We decided to remove the version and to fix it just on our side after. And I think how the team reacted was cool. Like we decided not to pun anyone or like to tell anyone that they did something bad, but more like inspect and analyze what happened and how to make sure that we don't do the same mistake again. It was more like a way to grow than a way to be sad.
Let's move forward then. What does the future look like? For the product and for your team?
Product, I think that it will be the 10 times you hear that, but it's probably AI. We will work on something very interesting. It's called like the Ask route. It will be a route on Melisearch to ask Melisearch about stuff. You will be able to put it in a single click on any website you want that you own. You will have a search bar that you can ask stuff for. And you will say, yes, it's a 10th company that does that, but Melisearch is more than the others. It's easy to say that, but we plan to be like instant. Instead of having to wait 10 seconds for an answer, you will just have that instantaneously. And we will see how it behaves, but we have great plan for that. About the content, being able to correctly retrieve the content, the LLM understand how and what is in an index to be able to answer correctly and with the most relevant queries and answers possible.
Let's switch to you. Kero, who influences the way that you work? Name a person or many persons or something you look up to and why.
I follow a lot of Rustaceans. Yes, it's like a religion for me and for a lot of people doing Rust. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, I think, because it makes you like think twice before doing something. Is it something that I want to do? Is it idiomatic in Rust? And if it's not, is it a good way to build something that is not idiomatic? And for that, I probably follow Steve Klabnik and a lot of other people who are Rustaceans, Rust lovers. This person, maybe I follow Sam Altman and people in the AI space, but it's more like to be sure that I follow the trend and I understand what's happening because it's happening very fast. And also in terms of company, OpenAI is a company that is trying to make money, at least trying. And I think that at least trying to follow what they do and what they plan and how they design their API and how they make people pay for stuff and other stuff is a good thing for Melisearch to follow or at least to understand.
Okay, Kero, last question. So you're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world and can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit?
Always build something for someone who is willing to use stuff and not just for your own interest. Nobody will buy something that you are the only one to believe in. Don't try to enforce too much stuff and make sure that your product will be used by probably companies or customers. It depends on your business. And also make sure your time is very important. So don't spend too much time on small stuff. And I'm giving this advice to myself too.
Both fantastic pieces of advice. Well, Kero, thank you for being on the show today. And thank you for telling the creation story of Melisearch.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you very much.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
Your child has so much potential, but your local schools may not be right for them. Check out K-12. K-12 powered schools are accredited tuition-free online public schools for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. This is not your typical homeschooling. With state-certified teachers specially trained to teach online, your child will learn at their speed, at home, with innovative, engaging technology. Join the more than 3 million families who have chosen K-12. Go to k12.com/podcast today to learn more. That's k12.com/podcast.